Well, it's definitely not Splatoon 2. This, guys, it's not Splatoon. Sorry. Sorry, I don't know what the hell this game is. Wait.
So, I'm not really sure how to start this. First, Nintendo drops a full-length direct from out of the blue, ending a nearly 2-year drought. Pyra/Mythra gets added to Smash, Twitter explodes, and then they drop a trailer for Splatoon 3 and just leave without saying anything else. So in order to try and figure out what we can expect from Splatoon 3, I'm going to be going through the trailer and combining the info I can find with the currently released tweets from Nintendo Twitter accounts. Hopefully this video will cover most of what we can see in the trailer, so without further ado, let's have a look. The trailer opens with a view over a dusty canyon area, with abandoned trains, cars, and other scrap lying around. This area could be connected to the story in some way, but I think it's more likely that this is the tutorial area. It's also here that we get our first look at an Inkling with new customization options, along with their salmon friend. We're able to choose between both Inkling and Octoling boy and girl body types straight off, with 9 different skin tones and 21 different eye colours. These eye colours are interesting too, as a number of these have different gradients and some look like they slightly change the colour of the pupils themselves. After this, we get our first look at the new hairstyles, 4 of which are shown for the Inkling, as well as 2 original Splatoon 1 hairstyles. Interestingly, these don't seem to be linked to whichever body type you originally picked, which is something that I know some people are already pretty excited about. However, I should say here that there will still probably be a difference in general body shape, voice lines, and possibly animations based on which one of the options you pick. Legwear also seems to not be bound to either gender, and some of the options do look like they've seen some slight changes, with this one being a potentially new option. Finally, you've got the small fry pet, which you can customize the hairstyle for. It's not obvious at this point what they'll be used for, but there is the potential for pet customizing or being used in the story mode. It's also worth mentioning here that the rough and torn design of the backgrounds for the game UI might be carried over or become a reoccurring theme throughout the game. After this, the player turns around and we get our first look at the new ink tanks in Splatoon 3. This design looks quite a lot like a roll-up water bottle, which makes sense given that Splatoon 2's design is based off of a sports water bottle. We get a look at the Inkling running up the slope of his starting area past what looks like an upside-down Eiffel Tower stuck in the valley. This next shot gives us a pretty good look at the new weapon, the Ink Bow. I'll talk about this more later, but it looks like the design is based off of a fishing rod and has a pretty cool custom-made feel to it. We get a shot of the Inkling walking to the station in order to get on a train, which shares a lot of similarities with the Deep Sea Metro, although the train designs themselves are definitely different. In the background, we're also able to see the outline of the city, confirmed to be called Splatsville, otherwise known as the City of Chaos. We can also see from this image how desolate the area surrounding the city is. On a note about the story, although Splatoon 3 will mostly take place around Splatsville in an area called the Splatlands, it's been heavily implied that Inkopolis and other Inkling cities haven't been destroyed, with Splatsville instead becoming the new favoured location for Inklings and Octolings to gather together. During the train ride, we get a better look at the outside of Splatsville, as well as like a remix of the shop theme from Splatoon 2. After this, we get our first look at the new hub area for Splatoon 3, which looks way more crowded than the previous 2 hub areas, surrounded by high-rise buildings as well as an overhead railway. This section gives us a lot of information about the kinds of things we can expect here, so let's take a look at that as well. For a start, we can see what looks like 3 new shops, one which looks like it sells eye cosmetics, one possibly selling hair cosmetics, and another with a pretty cryptic looking sign. There's also a scooter delivery service to the right of the Inkling here, although I'm not sure if this is just part of the city or something we can interact with. As the camera pans around, we also get a good look at some Inklings and Octolings wearing a mixture of new and familiar gear. This Inkling here is wearing the golf visor and the basketball home jersey, which confirms that gear from Splatoon 2 will be returning. However, we still have no idea about how abilities might be changed, although I'm willing to bet that we'll be seeing a mixture of new and old abilities revealed in the future. Here, we're also able to see what looks like the Plaza artwork submission box, as well as a road leading to the side. We also get a quick shot of what looks like some sort of animal above an entrance to an alleyway, which looks like it's the entrance to an important area, possibly connected to the story mode. We can also see from the positioning of this sign that this area connects to the hub area from this road. There's also a cut to what looks like the same alleyway later, with stairs leading up to a pedestal that looks like it's sitting in a more open courtyard. In the next cut, we get our first glimpse at what we can safely say is the entrance to the multiplayer lobby, with what looks like a train station entrance to the left. There's also a much better view of the hub area here, with some gates to the left which look similar to the old Splatoon 1 Battle Dojo designs, although it does look like they might open onto an entirely different area. From the way the steps to the lobby are placed, it also looks like we can walk up to this area here, which might be connected to the train system. The absence of an entrance to Grisco, the company run, near the lobby is also quite noticeable, and I can see this potentially being important in the future. Finally, we can see what is quite clearly ammo knights from Splatoon 1 and 2, which looks like it will be returning as the weapon shop. Above ammo knights is a room with two big signs pointing inside, which looks to me like it might be the in-game location for the Splatoon 3 idols, replacing or possibly including Pearl and Marina. After this glorious title card, the trailer transitions into a turf war match with a remix of the original Splatak in the background. This more rock-inspired style could carry over into other tracks in Splatoon 3, which I think would be a good addition to the apocalypse style that Splatoon 3 is trying to achieve. However, possibly the most noticeable change is a replacement of the original respawn points with these flying drones, which you use to launch yourself onto parts of the map. Looking at this covered respawn point here, I think it's safe to say that this is a complete overhaul of the respawning system, which is definitely a big change to the game and will make it much harder to spawn camp the other team. This is also the first look we get at some of the redesigned weapons, with the Hydro Blaster, the Dynamo Roller, the E-Liter, the Sloshing Machine, the Splatter Shot, the Hydro Splatling, and the 96 Gal all receiving new designs. This part of the trailer also looks like it could be part of the stage introduction similar to Splatoon 1 and 2. But with the enhanced graphics and smoother animation, I personally think that it's a lot cooler. The map itself looks quite large and appears to take place on the previously abandoned battle stage. From the information available on the Splatoon Twitter, I think it's likely that we're going to see new stages having a similar style. It's also here that we get our first look at how the Splat Bow functions. From the trailer footage, it looks like the bow might be a variant of the Charger, requiring you to charge your shots before firing, which releases 3 fast-moving projectiles in an arc. However, unlike the Charger, the Splat Bow doesn't have the charging laser and covers a much smaller area in turf. We also get a good look at the new movement options, which are available to all weapons. According to the Nintendo of America Twitter, the Squid Roll allows players to change direction quickly by leaping out of your ink, while the Squid Surge allows you to climb quickly up inked walls and fly into the air. Both of these are really interesting options for movement, and we'll have to wait and see how these are implemented in order to gauge how game-changing they're likely to be. Another thing shown in the battle footage are the new special weapons, 3 of which are shown and 2 of which are used. The Inksuka makes a reappearance, but appears to be pretty highly modified, both in style and in function. The special now fires 3 large bomb-like projectiles over a large distance. The 3 large ink tanks on the side of the Inksuka, as well as the footage here, also makes me think that the weapon might be limited to 3 shots only. The other specials shown off here are these microphones, which look like a mix between Splatoon 1's Killer Whales and Splatoon 2's Stingray. Not much information is available on how these special is used, but I think that they look like they might be auto-locking, potentially with a targeting system like Splatoon 2's Tenta Missiles. Speaking of the Tenta Missiles, the Nintendo of America Twitter posted this screenshot, where you can see what looks like the Tenta Missiles after they've been fired while they're still in the air. Given that we don't see this in the trailer, I'm not sure if we can say for certain, but it looks like at least some special weapons will be returning. Finally, we've got this crab-like drone, which looks like it's going to be a new special weapon, although there isn't any other information available on it at the moment. And that wraps up just about everything I could find with the Splatoon 3 reveal trailer. If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, I'd greatly appreciate it if you gave it a like or subscribe so you can be notified on any future content I put out. Nintendo has massively surprised me here, and I don't think many people saw a new game being announced this soon. So you can be sure that I'll be putting out plenty of new videos when more Splatoon 3 information is revealed. But with all of that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time.